Waukeen makes his way down the side of this mountain, and he sees the forest out in front of him a good ways. So he makes his way over this stream and through these fields, and the forest is very, very dark. He remembers coming through it the day before and all of his troubles coming through before. And he's trying to find an opening to get in. He's trying to find an opening in this just wall of trees. It's like a fortress to get into. So he looks around, and he finally finds a spot, an opening in between some trees where he can walk Onyx through. Now, he's not able to just ride Onyx through this forest. It's very thick, it's very dense. There's branches and vines, brush, everything in the way. He can't just ride through. So he's walking Onyx through this forest, and he's trying to make his way. It's so dark. He hears nothing. It's quiet. It's still. It doesn't even sound like there's wind blowing. It's just deathly silent. And he continues through this forest, making his way. He's got his sword out. He's chopping through some of these bushes. He wishes he knew a path to get through, but there is none. And as he continues through, and he's trying to find his way, he just knows, I have to head west. And the only problem there is he cannot see through the canopy of the trees. The sunlight is blocked out. It's almost like there's this just constant cloud cover. It's always dreary looking, and it's kind of, even though it's a bright part of a day, it's just dark. It's just really dark. The woods seem shadowed, and the trees look darker than they should be. And, the leaves, though are alive, don't have any life to them, if that makes any sense. And he pushes through, and he keeps going with old Onyx. And as they continue through this, they look for any landmarks, any signs of, I'm on the right path. But he just knows this way should be the way I need to go. He's never ran into any of the creatures he's ever ran into when he was in the cave, so he's nervous about this. He's unsure of what he may run into out here. So as they continued through, it becomes obviously darker, and he notices that it's very hard to see anywhere. It was already dark, but now there's like this blackness. It's almost like a shroud has covered anything past 20 feet away. You can't see very far at all. So he says, well, it's time to make camp. So he sets up camp right in the middle of this little clearing that he was able to find. And he goes and lays down and eats a piece of jerky while thinking about everything that's happened. He's very on guard. He's very nervous about trying to sleep, but he needs sleep. He needs to rest. So he finally dozes off. And once he dozes off, he hears a rustling in the bush behind him. He gets up, draws his sword, and goes over quietly to see what made this rustling in the bush. And he doesn't see anything. He doesn't hear anything. He doesn't see anybody around, doesn't hear anybody around. And the light from the campfire doesn't seem to go as far as it normally would. Or normally he could maybe see 15 feet away very comfortably. Now it feels like he can only see 5 feet away. It's like there's only light at the campfire. Anything outside of that just feels dark. And he doesn't know what's going on. So he goes back to the campfire, keeps his sword out. And while he's sitting there, he hears this rustling again. And he thinks, man, what could be making all this rustling noise? So again, he stands up and he starts to look around. He can't see anything, doesn't hear anything else, but he listens quietly, and he looks as hard as he can through the darkness. He's staring deep into the darkness, trying to pierce through it with his eyes, and nothing. And after a few seconds, he hears a low growl coming off from the side. He immediately looks over, and when he looks over, all he sees are two red eyes coming from where he heard the growl. Then he hears a little bit of a rustling off to the side of that. He looks over, and another set of red eyes. He only knows one thing that's had red eyes that he's ever encountered, and they were scary. But he's ready. He prepares his sword, gets ready for the fight, and that's when they jump out. Two large creatures, dark-haired, long snouts, long teeth, claws for hands, and glowing red eyes, start lunging at him, tearing at him. He's immediately trying to back away. He's trying to swipe at these beasts. And the more he comes in and thrusts at them and stabs at them and slashes at them, the harder they attack him. It's like they match him every time he tries to hit them. They come back at him just as strong. But they're so much taller and so much bigger than he is. And he's having such a hard time just standing up. They're knocking him back. Every time they hit him, it knocks him back. And he's trying to keep his balance. He's trying not to fall. He's trying to keep his sword ready and in his hands. And they keep swiping at him, and he keeps swinging. And finally, he gets the advantage on one of them. When it swings, he was able to actually pierce it really centered in the chest. And he pushes in, and he's running at it as he's pushing in it. It's stumbling backwards, and he keeps thrusting forward. And finally, it hits a tree, and he was able to push all the way in. When he pulls his sword from the chest of this creature, he immediately turns in time to see this hand swiping down at him from the other beast, and he's able to throw his sword up and chop the hand off of this other creature. And when he chops the hand off, it immediately yelps and jumps back. And then he runs at it while it's stumbling back, and he slashes and slashes until it starts to back away, more to turn around to run. And as it tries to run away, he catches its leg and hits its leg, chopping it off. The animal falls. When it falls, he jumps on it and thrusts his sword deep into its chest as well, finishing this creature off. When he pulls the sword from it, he prepares to see if there's any more. Doesn't see anything, doesn't hear any more. And he takes a moment to kind of compose himself, realizing that that may be it. He sheathes his sword, he goes back over, and he starts to get Onyx ready. So he loads up everything, puts the fire out, and they start heading in the direction that he believes is west. And again, they travel through the night, heading west in this darkness that he cannot see through. Finally, it starts to become daylight. And again, even in the day, there's like this shroud, this darkness that's just over the forest, and he can't really see through it. But as it becomes daylight, he does see way up ahead green leaves that look normal. And he sees like life blooming out of these trees. And he's like, wow, now finally, I think I made it to the alive forest, if you will. And he gets up to this, it's almost like a wall of the darkness. And he goes through, and as soon as he steps into the live forest part, he suddenly hears birds chirping. He feels a breeze coming through. He hears it going through the leaves of the trees. Little things running through the leaves on the ground. and there's life all around him. And he realizes, wow, okay, the forest is alive over here. So he's out of the dark forest and he's finally into a normal forest, which he recognizes because he's been there hundreds of times as a child growing up and as an adult traveling through. He knows these forests very well, though he is coming from somewhere he's never been in before. So he continues on, making his way towards west, towards the kingdom. He finally sees up ahead roads and paths and trails, and he realizes, wow, I'm finally close to civilization. And once he realizes that he's close to civilization, he kind of takes a moment. He's like, wow, man, thank goodness I'm here. I'm starting to see signs of life from people. And now that he's found these roads, he's able to ride Onyx and kind of make some better time, because at this point he's been walking so much, it's taken so long to go such a little distance, it feels like, and he's just exhausted from not only walking and carrying some of these things, but also he got no sleep the night before. He wound up having to fight these creatures. He didn't get any rest from his previous journey, and now he's finally coming to a point where he might actually be able to get some rest up ahead, but he's been traveling day and night basically, with no sleep hardly. So he's like, okay, well here's a moment where I can get up here and maybe I can get some rest, because it is starting to get a little bit dark out now that he's found these trails. He doesn't see anybody yet, he doesn't see any people, but he sees signs that people have been through here, which makes him feel better, a little more at peace. So he continues on up this road, and like I said, it's starting to get a little bit dimmer outside. It's starting to get a little dark. Dusk is coming, and he sees these ruins off to the side. And when he sees these ruins, he figures, well, I'll just go over here and I will rest at these ruins. They seem good enough. I don't know what they were. I don't know, what will come of that, but yeah, I'm gonna get some rest over here. So he and Onyx go over there to make a small campfire, and they start to wind down from the day. He's thinking again about what it is he's about to do, what he's going to tell everybody as far as what happened and how he came across the scroll, and fill everybody in. And he's kind of excited because he knows he's not too far away. So he starts to doze off. As he's sleeping, suddenly he just awakened, right? He feels himself just kind of pop awake. As soon as his eyes open, he sees someone standing in front of him, coming towards him with a knife in their hand. And they're wearing like a hood, and they got their mask, like some type of covering on their face, a mask some sort, but all he can see is their eyes. And they're coming towards him with this knife. Quickly, he kicks them away. As they go flying back as he kicks them away, and he jumps up and just pops up onto his feet quickly, and he draws his sword. But as he draws his sword, he looks around and he realizes there's about 10 people surrounding him, all dressed the same, all wearing hoods with these masks covering their face, and they all have swords. And he realizes this is an ambush. I'm being attacked. So he doesn't wait. Waukeen is not the kind to sit around and wait for you to come after him. He goes in, and of course he goes for the first one that started the attack on him, right? The one that was trying to come up and try and stab him while he was asleep. Waukeen rushes towards him and inserts his sword right into the midsection of this bandit. As soon as he does that, the others are already starting to converge on him. He turns and he starts fighting. He's making pretty short work out of these bandits. They don't stand much of a chance. They did not realize the caliber of knight they were running up on. Waukeen just quickly blocks everything, deflects, moves, and he is slicing right through them. After Waukeen has destroyed most of these bandits, there's 3 standing in front of him. They kind of stand there looking at each other. These 3 bandits in front of him, he's standing there, he's ready. You see those bandits kind of adjusting their grips, getting ready for their attack, and they're kind of together, right? They're not spread out, they're kind of grouped together, probably because they feel safe with more of them, and especially in a situation where they just ran up on Waukeen, who just made very quick work of their partners. Now the thing is these other bandits that are laying on the ground, some are dead, but some are not. And you can hear them screaming in agony, calling out for help, wishing the other bandits would help them as they lie there bleeding to death. Waukeen seems unfazed. He is steadfast ready. But while they are sitting there in this standoff, suddenly, Waukeen feels the need to move, and he quickly moves as an arrow comes flying from behind him. And the way he moves, the arrow misses and it hits his armor. When it hits his armor, it deflects off and it goes straight ahead and hits one of the bandits in front of him. The bandit immediately drops to the ground. The other two, who are already full of fear at this point because they're hearing the bloody screams of the other bandits on the ground. Now another partner just went down. Suddenly, they're just like, we have to go in. So they rush him because the other bandit just dropped. He got hit from behind. They figured surprise attack, I guess, right? So they're rushing in, and he just immediately takes them both down, cuts both of these bandits down. But as soon as he takes both of them down, he turns to see where the other one was that shot the arrow. That bandit looks at him with surprise, turns around and starts to go. As he's starting to run, Waukeen looks around and he grabs one of the bandit's swords that were laying on the ground, and he throws it. He throws it with all his might, and it hits that bandit in the back, drops him straight to the ground. And this is where Waukeen starts to walk around and look at all these bandits to see, what may have inspired this attack. It could have been random, but he doesn't know. Something's telling him that there's more to this. So Waukeen goes up to each bandit and searches them. He looks around to see what they have on them, what may be in their pockets. Will there be some clue? So he looks around, and finally he finds one that has a letter. And he reads through the letter, and there's no markings on it. There's no insignia of any kind. The only thing that he had that was a clue was at the very bottom. There were initials, and they just said ZD. But in the letter itself, it essentially said to wait for Waukeen the knight to come through, and once they found him, they were to kill him and take the scroll and return it to ZD, whomever ZD is. The only thing left in that letter that he found was, it said, once the scroll was returned to that person, ZD, they would be paid 1,000 pieces of gold. 1,000 pieces of gold is a huge amount of money, very large. So whoever it was has a lot of money, and they have a lot of reach when it comes to getting things to happen. For them to have found this band of bandits to attack him. They knew that there would be enough of them that it should be able to get the job done, or at least they assumed. So Waukeen decides there's no reason trying to sleep the rest of the night. He's too wound up, he's too on edge. He doesn't know if there's more coming. He doesn't know what the situation will be. So he decides, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and pack up. So he packs up the rest of his things, not to mention he doesn't want to sleep near a bunch of dead bodies. So packs up the rest of his things, loads up Onyx, and they set out. Again, heading west towards the kingdom. As he travels through, it's nighttime, it's dark, no signs of life anywhere. It finally starts to become morning. He hears the birds chirping, he hears the leaves rustling, as they should. And about that time, he sees a cart go by. And then he sees some people on horses, and he's like, thank goodness, I'm finally near civilization, real people. He can kind of take a breath and take a moment and relax a little bit. And he continues on through, and he sees up ahead an opening. He gets out of the woods, he gets to this opening, he sees the field. And the field leads all the way up to the front gates of this huge wall. And inside of this wall, up on a hill, you see this huge kingdom. And he realizes, I made it.